Hello everyone, welcome to Team Guroba's first official race review video on YouTube since we started the new channel. Where are we this week? It's Oulton Park over in Cheshire, approximately 2 hours from Sheffield. I wish I had my Chinook and then I could have just taken the red line and got over. What we'd go in there for, it's the BRSCC Clubsport. We're in Class E, which is 135 brake ton, includes the driver, great for bigger guys like me. 45-minute race with a mandatory pit stop, and there are 8 cars in class today, so we're going to be up against it. It should be nice and competitive. I weighed up everything, I've been on the rolling road, I know my numbers. We're running Woodstock the Puma at about 129 brake per ton, and we still managed to qualify in 3rd place, which is excellent. Really pleased with that. However, I am quite clued up around Oulton Park. I know this circuit quite well. I've done a lot of mileage around here, and I was able to get on the pace quite soon in qualifying. Some of the other drivers behind me, a pesky little red Mazda driven by Chris Fantana, for example, it was his first ever time at the circuit. So although I out-qualified him, he was only ever going to improve as he got more and more laps under his belt. So I'm thinking podiums on the cards. Guys in front probably going to go quicker than me. Guys behind could start coming through quicker and start threatening. So the podium is going to be a tricky affair, but it's one that we're going to go for. Just waiting here for the marshals to put me in position. I was hoping to be on the outside of the circuit. I know a lot of people like to go to the inside, but I find that the outside at Old Hall gives you a bit of an advantage at this track.
Nice shot. 45 minutes, boys and girls.
Okay, the reason I like to go on the outside at the first corner here is because of the way the circuit gradients and cambers towards the apex. It tends to suck more cars down towards the inside of the track, and they all end up just stuck on each other's bumper, bottlenecked and stationary. Whereas if you can get a clear run on the outside, you can normally make up 2 or 3 spots, which is really handy. However, it means getting to the outside, and because of that pesky little red Mazda you can see in my rearview mirror, his rear wheel drive and extra power means that I can't get over where I want to be, which is a bit annoying at the moment. Loads of cement dust going in the air from a previous race, and on the exit you see all that cloud of dust. You don't know if that is a car spinning or if we're going over cement dust from previous, so you just have to keep your toe down, and then you see some more of it. Is it an accident? Is it more cement dust? It's actually an accident. It was our paddock neighbour Danny DC2, and I think it was one of the Hondas who got stuck in the gravel there. I know that Danny made it out of the gravel and continued his race. We'll speak about him a bit later on, but for the time being I'm just grateful I've made it through the first 2 or 3 corners. I have a bit of breathing room in front and a little bit of breathing room behind as well. Now, I've often said that the Puma's got various strengths and weaknesses when it's out on circuit compared to other cars. One of its major strengths is the braking. We are incredibly good relative to the others at stopping our vehicle from speed, as you can see here by the concertina effect as we all brake into the chicane. Now, I know that's extenuated because of the fact it's lap 1 and there's more cars, but while they use their power to accelerate away up the hill, look who's in the rearview mirror again. It's Chris in the red Mazda. Now, Chris and I are really good mates, and we've done a lot of racing wheel-to-wheel on circuit before at other tracks. We can trust each other, and honestly, if I'm having a battle with anyone in the rearview mirror, I'd like it to be Chris. A, because I know how much of an achievement it is to have my car in front of his, but also I know that we're in for a good, clean, fair fight. Now, strengths and weaknesses then. Chris's car has got a bit more power than mine, and it's rear wheel drive, which means that its rear tyres get up to temperature a lot faster than mine do. So in the first 2 or 3 laps he's normally got an advantage over me, then it tends to even out a little bit. The joker in the pack here though is that Chris also runs a limited slip differential in his Mazda, which I don't have in the Puma because it would render me illegal for the Puma Cup where I do most of my racing. So there's a real ebb and flow in terms of performance between my car and his. And also in the mirror, I think, was that another Mazda MX-5? overtaking Chris now. It was a different class of car, and as I've said many times before, overtake me on the exit of a corner, I don't have a problem with that. If you throw it up the inside, I lose a bucket ton of time, as is evidenced by Chris closing right up to me coming out of Old Hall there. I wasn't very happy about it, because I know that I've got to make hay while the sun shines, because Chris will get faster and he will get to the point where he's challenging me, and I want to put that off for as long as possible. So now we're in that awkward position of trying to build a gap to the car behind, but also driving on the mirrors, because just like that, he's going to show his nose every now and again. He's going to try and put me off, make me brake where I shouldn't brake, turn in a little bit early. Just basically, he's going to be an absolute nuisance in my rearview mirror and try and harry me into making a mistake. That said, I've been doing this quite a while, and I like to think I know what I'm doing. Some of you probably watch my driving and think absolutely the opposite, missing braking points, missing apexes, so on and so forth, but everyone's entitled to their own opinion. Here he comes again. He's got a bit more grunt coming out of the corner, and that LSD allows him to get his foot down a bit sooner as well. He's showing his nose to the inside, but I'm not really worried about that. He's too far back to have a go. If I move over to defend it, all I'm going to do is compromise my exit, and I need my exit from here to be as good as possible. So nice try, Chris, but I wasn't falling for it. Once again, up through the gears at Clay Hill, and I'm not entirely sure if he's going to have a go here or not. The smart thing to do would be to try and put me offline and then have a go down into Lodge, but he doesn't do that, and neither does he make a move at Druids. So I'm thinking Chris was maybe distracted himself by that car that's overtaking him and is now between us. Now, approaching Lodge, I am desperate to keep that car behind me going into the corner so that I'm not compromised. I've now got my foot flat down, and here it is. It's our paddock neighbour Danny DC2 in his Class 2 Mazda. No, it's not a Mazda, apologies, it's his Toyota MR2, my bad. There he goes through on the inside. Luckily, he managed to do it before I really hit my braking zone, so I didn't lose out too much. That's how I'd like to be overtaken, please. Thank you very much. Danny was the guy who was in the gravel at this particular point of the circuit on lap 1. Now, I'm not racing against him, he's in Class D, so I don't mind that he's now driving off into the distance. But I've now got Chris again back in my rearview mirror. He's too far back to have a go, but he'll move offline a little bit just to try and distract me, as is his right. And then, of course, stamping the brakes into the hairpin. This is where the Puma's really good, and it sticks. So I know that I'm going to be alright on the exit of this corner. But Chris has traditionally been much quicker than me through this chicane coming up. Now look how far behind he is at the moment. Then we go through the braking phase, the turn-in phase, and the accelerating up the hill phase, and look at that. He's pulled 2 or 3 car lengths. I know immediately that I'm under threat now, so I move over to the right-hand side of the circuit and hope that I can get to the braking zone before he's clear in front of me. I did my best. I tried to hang on around the outside here to stamp on it and take the inside for the next corner, but it was over. It was done. Well done, Chris Rift. I held you up for, well, held you back rather for maybe, was it 2 laps in the end? Not 100% sure, something like that. Now, Chris has got his own YouTube page. It's 2RM Motorsport. I've put it up there. Go and have a look because he's posted his video of that battle as well. So it'd be good to see it from his point of view. Okay, so now Chris has got in front of me. I've now got 2 things to be concerned about. Can I catch and pass Chris again? And can I keep the Mini of Christian White behind me? That's one of those supercharged Minis, and it's a beautiful little car, and it sounds fantastic. Although I wish I couldn't hear it, because it's got that supercharged whine to it, which is... sounds horrible when you try and describe it, but it's actually a really cool sound when you hear it driving along. So I know that Chris is going to get a bit quicker and drive away from me in front, but that doesn't mean that he won't make a mistake or he won't get held up by the leaders when they come through. So I've really got to do my best to try and stay on his tail, try and stay within shooting distance if something happens. But I'm also mindful of the fact that my podium's now gone. I'm in 4th place, and I've got Chris White in the Mini behind me, threatening to demote me down to 5th as well. Now, just to prove the fact that I do these voiceover recordings in one go, well, not in one go, but I never go back and do anything again. I tend to record and press stop and then do the next bit. I never go back and do it again if I made a mistake. I'll leave the mistake in. But anyway, waffling on. Prime example. You'd have seen a yellow flag on the approach to Lakeside then. That was the Honda Civic of Inderjit Singh. Didn't see exactly what happened, but on Danny DC2's video, you do get a better view of it. Now look at Chris here. He's attacking me. Sorry, I don't know if it's Chris or Christian. I'm going to say Chris. We've never met, so apologies if I'm getting your name wrong and you prefer to be called Christian instead of Chris. But what a great move. He went for it up the outside. He'd got the run. Same way that Chris Fantana in the Mazda tried the lap before. So I wonder if this Chris, Mini Chris, had been taking a leaf out of Red Mazda Chris's book. Well, just look at the battle. It's fantastic. I'm going hell for leather. I'm setting personal best sectors. You can't see it on my little timer in the middle of the screen, but generally speaking, I was improving my lap times by 2-3 tenths each lap. So I'm getting quicker and quicker and staying consistent. And this little Mini just will not go away. You look here, it's probably 4 or 5 car lengths, and then we'll get down towards Old Hall Corner, which is this first right-hander coming up. So he's gained on me there, maybe 3-4 car lengths. So he's got a power advantage. He's quicker in a straight line. However, he moved to the inside a little bit early there and closed the corner off for himself. So although I've managed to maintain the gap, I don't know if that's because I'm better round the corners or because he makes a mistake with his line. That said, he's just got a much better exit from Cascades, and he's coming flying up the left-hand side here. Where that pace came from, I don't know. That was quite astonishing, considering how closely matched we were on straight line speed and grunt out of the corners. He could barely overtake me coming over Hilltop, but then round Lakeside, he's got the move done before we turn left. That was astonishing. And that really does simulate? That really does show you where that 6 horsepower per tonne goes. That horsepower that I'm lacking for this class. If I had that extra 6 brake horsepower, maybe he wouldn't have been able to make it through there, and I would still be driving around in 4th place. Yeah, so now the Mini's ahead, I'm going to do really well to keep up with it. He can now exploit all the extra power that he's got. I can see in the rearview mirror, or rather can't see in the rearview mirror, the threat behind. I only found out afterwards it was more than likely there was a threesome of Mazda 2s out on the circuit having their own little scrap. So that I don't know how far back they were, but obviously they weren't within eyesight, so I didn't have to worry too much about them sort of catching me up or falling back into their clutches. I just had to try and hang on. Now it did mean that the race was fairly lonely for me from here on in. So just one thing to mention, the camera's going to cut out in a second. Here we go. I've no idea why that happened, it just did. Both cameras started at the same time, that one shut off, but they came back perfectly in sync. Right, I'm going to fast forward it through to the pit stop, because that's the next interesting thing. I shall see you there, so consider this end of part 1 and cue the crappy music. Welcome to part 2 of the BRSCC Clubsport Class E race at Oulton Park. I am John Glover. You are riding on board with me in my little yellow Puma, Ford Puma, called Woodstock, and we've just come to the pits. We have to make a mandatory stop during these races. That is because some of the teams have two drivers, and it gives them a chance to make their driver change without having any disadvantage to drivers who are running it solo, like me. It stops me just coming into the pits and driving off again while they're changing around, doing the harnesses and getting in and out, that kind of thing. So it does make it fair. It also gives me a chance just to have a bit of a rest. It's deceptive how physical it can be driving these cars. People who haven't driven a race car on a racetrack tend to be surprised with how physical it is when they actually do. And it was a really hot day today. This was in the middle of the heat wave back in the summer, you know, when we were like getting 30 plus degrees every day. Couple that with zero ventilation and a 3-layer race suit and a helmet and gloves. It really is hard work. So I was grateful to Mark there for just passing me a bottle of what I thought was Lucozade Sport, but it turns out when I gave him the bottle he actually dropped it, so there was about an inch worth of Lucozade left, and then he just topped the rest up with cold water. So it was one of the most bizarre, horrible, nice, refreshing drinks I've had in a pit lane in a long while. Thanks for that, Mark. Right, we have to set off from the pit garage with about 10 seconds to go before our allotted time limit. That's the amount of time it takes me to get from here down to the pit exit line. If I arrive at that line too soon, I will get a penalty. If I arrive at it too late, then I'm just costing myself time. And I managed to nail that one. It was actually a fraction under the 2 minutes, but when it was rounded up, it was perfect, so I didn't get a penalty. Now, heading back out onto the circuit, I know that I was 5th before the stops. I don't know if Chris in the red Mazda has pitted. I don't know if little Chris in the blue Mini has pitted, so I just need to take advantage of the fact that I've got clear circuit ahead of me and put in as quick lap times as I can, in the hope that when they come out of the pits I'll have visibility and I will either be closer to them or hopefully even ahead of them. Spoiler alert, none of those things happened. I drove around for about 20 minutes all on my own. I think I saw about 3 other cars all the way between then and now. If you didn't notice, I've bought a little effects pack on Filmora, and I used one of the little transition things just then to go from the end of the pit stop bit just up to here to the checkered flag. I assure you, you didn't miss anything. I had great fun, don't get me wrong. I was charging around a racetrack driving my little race car and trying to go faster and faster and faster, but in terms of wheel-to-wheel racing there was just nothing there. I didn't see Chris in the Mini ahead of me. I didn't see Chris in the red MX-5 ahead of me. I can't remember how far up the road they were, but it was certainly out of my visual. So I just had a great time driving around, and you know, Oulton Park never fails to deliver. Rain or shine, it is a wonderful circuit to drive around. It really sucks you in and you get a real thrill and sensation of speed driving around. I could drive around all day as it happens. Quick thank you to the marshals. You see them at the side of the track in their orange overalls, in their fire and rescue trucks, the doctors and such like as well, and of course all the ones that are off track that you don't always see, in the pit lane, in the assembly area, in the scrutineering bays and parc fermé. I am a marshal myself, as is my mechanic Mark. We both got our memberships and we both get out on the bank and volunteer when we can, and we know how much we appreciate it when we're on this side of the oh, sorry, I'm not wording this very well. Marshals, we bloody love you. Thank you very much. And that sounds a little self-serving because Mark and I are marshals, but what I'm trying to do is accentuate the fact that we know how much effort it can be to get up on those really cold early mornings, drive 2 hours to a racetrack to stand there in your overalls and basically make other people have fun or allow other people to have fun. It's hugely appreciated. Thank you very much. Right, so I did a little race recap at the half-time break, or commercial break, or whatever you'd like to call that. Nothing changed. We finished 5th. This was my second outing with the Clubsport guys. Oddly, at Donington last September, I think it was, I qualified 3rd and finished 5th. Second time out with this club and these kids, it's been exactly the same. Qualified 3rd, finished 5th. So not gone backwards. Shame we didn't go forwards, but we know we've got room for manoeuvre with the power to weight ratio. So we're going to work on that for next time. The next time Team Guroba will be out on circuit will be for the Puma Cup at the end of August. We're racing at Oulton Park on this circuit in this configuration on the bank holiday Monday of the August bank holiday. So the car will be reverted to Puma Cup spec. We're going to put the metal doors back on, change a couple of things around so the car's legal for that series, and we shall go again. Thank you very much for watching. I want to say a special thanks to a chap called Danny DC2, who we were pitched up in the paddock next door to. I did him a very little favour of lending him a roll of gaffer tape, and in return he gave me a bit of airtime on his YouTube channel. There he is in my rearview mirror as we speak, the red and black MR2. Congratulations to Danny. He managed to come from last in his class at the end of the first lap all the way through to win it. Storming drive. I'll put a link to his channel into the comments of this video, and you might like to go and see it from his point of view. Danny, it was great to meet you. Thank you very much for the shout. I appreciate what that did for my little channel here, and I hope to see you out on a racetrack again sometime soon. Right, I'm going to kill the video here, put up a few title cards once I've finished playing and decide, I know, which ones I want to put up and what I want them to say, and then yeah, it'll be Oulton Park end of August. See you there. Thank you very much for watching. Really appreciate it. Do the like, subscribe thing. I'm not going to bomb you with videos all day every day, just once every now and again. I hope you enjoy them and will continue to keep on watching them. Thanks very much. Bye everybody. Team Guroba signing out.